much. Thank you to the organising committee for allowing me to come and speak. I can speak very quickly, so if I speak too quickly, put your hand up and go, slow down. My disclosures is that I'm a Kiwi and I live in Australia. I love the All Blacks, so that's my disclosure. Really, two things I really want to take out of here when we're talking about saving lives across borders. It's always been the case. It's always been the case. And collaboration is the cornerstone of our network. And when I mean the network, I mean everyone in this room. Australia is a taker. We take other people's donations from other countries and use it on our patients. Our patients in Australia, we never say no. So as per capita, we're fourth in the world of doing transplants because we never say no. So we're a big taker. We'd like to be a giver, but there's just too many factors. So thank you very much for everything that you do for Australian patients. Okay, and the other thing is, and it's been said before, it takes a village. And we look around the room and we looked at that third slide that we had at the start of yesterday, all the different countries, all the different professions and everyone. And it's all just done on a handshake. And it's the remarkable part of being part of this amazing profession. There are regulations, yes, but most of it is just done through handshake. So, after I finish my sermon, I will carry on with this presentation. Yeah, Australia's at the bottom of the world, not far away from my hometown, New Zealand. Different time zones, and it's a big country. Okay, it's such a big country that it fits other countries in that country. So you can see, I know Australia's there, and we've got America, we've got Asia, and everything like that. But what people don't keep forgetting is that it's mainly that. Just a bit of bush in the middle, because mainly everyone lives around the outside in the green areas. Okay? And that itself creates borders as well. And there are time zones. And it's just like the United States. You know, when you're thinking about time to transplants, sometimes people are ringing up in the middle of the night from the other side from Perth, or vice versa. So really just keep that in mind. And that's unique for us in Australia. And when we're talking about cross borders, there are international borders, but there's internal borders. And that was especially seen during the pandemic, when the countries that are inside Australia, because we're a federation, shut their borders, and then suddenly we couldn't get to some of those other places, but we continued. And again, a testament to the world that during the pandemic, we continued. Okay, just a quick overview of the Registry. It's a charity, it's got its own board of directors, it's funded, very complex funding through the different states and territories, like a lot of things. 100% funded now. There's 10 adult and 5 paediatric unrelated donor BMT hospitals in each of the states, for Australia, based in the states. There's 12 apheresis and 8 Marrow collections. 165 odd thousand adult donors. Average age is 42. The majority are done by blood, have been done by blood. There's only about 22,000 of that who have done by swabs over the past 5 years. Swabs have been done through a combination of different labs, NESI, Diane, DKMS, so you can see. And most of the people over the past 8 years have been put on, have been done on NGS. 60% are female, 40% are male. And again, Diane's lab, and before her predecessors, led the one in Australia for NGS. And so we have majority that are actually there, but there are some old donors, and Jonathan keeps on asking for different ETs on different people. We get to say, yeah, right. There's 8 public cord banks containing 36,000 cords, which we're very proud of. Facilitated 458 unrelated donors for Australian transplants, but we imported 80%, so 365 products. And 3 from Thailand. Thank you very much, Thailand, for that. And we exported 54 HPC products. Just an overwood, so it's 4th in the world. And as you can see up on the slide, this is the trend we are seeing. And this is the trend that the world is seeing. We are seeing more and more transplants. and it's just increasing. Especially every time, and I said this the other day to someone, in India, every 6 months, you see an article of a new transplant hospital coming online. And they're just not small transplant hospitals, they're large transplant hospitals. So we're seeing an increase in transplants. Okay, it's a complex system, and I just want to put that graph up to show you that it is complex. The registry and how it's all done in Australia, lots of players, so lots of coordination. But basically the registry does exactly what every other registry in the world does, and that is coordination. And that's the job of the registry, coordinate all those different parts, advocate, and you can see it up there. See, I'm going pretty fast. But again, I just keep back to this thing about collaboration, okay? Collaboration is the real power, okay? And there's some people up there you might know, Jeremy Chapman, who's our founder and our chair stool. Without collaboration, we just won't do it. It's the cornerstone of the network. It's the cornerstone of everything we do. Recruitment, collections, our search system, our registry system called Matchpoint, science, working party and advice. So without half the people in the room, or not half, probably a quarter of the people in the room, we couldn't do our job because everyone collaborates. I just want to really just highlight the collaboration aspect of this, and Matchpoint is a really good example of collaboration because it is the registry patient donor management system. It's matching and does the management. It's connected to the 34 countries through the EMDIS connection, which is a point-to-point protocol, communication protocol. We have 3 versions, one for Thailand, one for New Zealand, and one for Australia. And it's just done through collaboration. There's no fees attached to it, it's just like people need it, and that's how the world works, and that's how we see it. Okay, it's powered by Optimaz, which is German ZKRD, black box, and again, through collaboration. It checks HLA through HLA core, and the tables that come from there are the tables that come from you guys. And that gets published every year, or every 6 months, and sometimes the publishing could do with a bit of tweaking, as a couple of people pointed out. But again, it's just done through that collaboration. And the users provide the power. So that's just a good example of the collaboration. The users provide the power. If something goes wrong, they let us know pretty quickly. And also they provide input into any sort of development. And there was a huge development part to it as well. So challenges and opportunities. I just want to put them 2. I haven't put them like challenges and here are the opportunities. I want you to make your own choice up. What do you think they are? Quickly, I can go quickly. This is what I see really as the big ticket item, the rapid rate of change. We are changing. Everything's changing so quickly. Every time you change something within the registry, you find out that you need to change it again. And then you change it again. And as Diane said on her very good presentation before, every time you look at, there's another paper that comes up and says something else. So from the left to right is again, got Shirley Nolan and Anthony Nolan. The tables, they're pretty easy before. I know that Rhonda was having a little giggle then. And we've got a couple of specialist people, Jeff and Liz, there, who at the start provided the grunt. And that's very common of how it went. Then we changed to this sort of, like we have these really fantastic facilities that have patients and families and things like that. We have this really amazing website, and then we have huge organisations within countries now, Thai Registry, of course, there we are, who are providing expertise as well, right? And then we're going to go on to the next phase, which is a sort of bit redundant because in actual fact it's happening now as well, is that we're going to have in vitro manipulation, personalised medicine, which is what's up there, and that's happening as we speak now, and AI. Well, AI is just fancy language for machine learning, and as we heard before, machine learning is here, and we're doing it, but it's coming up, There are organisations, CIBMTR, that are investing heavily into what that actually means in predictive stuff. And we saw the B Leader. No, that's a tool that you can use. There are decision-making tools that are around. And when you think about how does that help, it just helps time to transplant. And when you're at the bottom of the world and we're trying to save people, we need things happen quickly because it takes 3 days for it to get to us. And that's the sort of thing you've got to keep remembering in the back of your mind when we're talking about saving lives across borders. There is time. There are 26,000 unrelated donors per year last year, 2023. You put that in perspective, that's 71 donors at any one time in the world donating. Okay, and you put that down by a third, that's 28 people carrying a esky or an isothermic container on a plane going somewhere to another country at any one time. That's the power of our community. So challenges, as I said, internal challenges. It's really hard sometimes to get to places, and just not for us, but for our donors. So if we have a donor up in some of the vast parts of Australia, up in the Northern Territory, trying to get them down to Queensland, down to Brisbane to get collected, that's 3 flights for some of these people, or 2 flights and a big long drive. It's huge distances, so that's one of the challenges we face. And internationally, as I said, trying to get a sample to America from one side of the country is extremely difficult. Okay, donors are less committed. That's just a fact, just not in Australia, but around the world. Something that's happened post-pandemic, donors are less committed, and we are all struggling with that. And it doesn't matter whether they've been put on by swabs or been put on by blood, it's just less committed. So we are all struggling with that basic concept. We're reliant on overseas donors who are also less committed now. And in actual fact, Australia, for the first time ever, at VT has a higher commitment rate than one of the really large registries in the world. So that's something that's just incredible. There's increased patient volume and a world of decreasing collection capacity. And that's the thing, we're getting more and more requests, but we're fighting with cellular therapies, but we're fighting with everything else and a complex health system as well. And AI and decision support tools are coming online, and we just don't know whether that's actually a good thing or a bad thing. As I said before, why don't we just use a cord? We're making it complex. World regulation, it's things that keeps me up at night. And again, there's family wants to donate at home, and there's also mismatch and young trumps a lot. I put in a question mark because Diane put it up quite succinctly before. Okay, the world, this is the world, this is the transplants. So if you're really, really red, you're doing per capita lots of transplants. If you're white, you're doing none. And you can see just by that thing, we are Euro-American in nature. And that's where it's come from. But there are countries that are catching up. But with the catching up, there are issues. So I am going to take my Australia hat on and put my WMDA hat on and talk about the World Marrow Donor Association. Its mission is matching donors and serving patients. Just a quick one, it's a member organisation made up of registries, recruitment organisations, cord blood banks and partners. There's thousands and thousands of transplant centres around the world. There's lots of laboratories doing lots of things of varying size and functions, and it's based on a common understanding that it takes a village and collaboration. And again, an example of what WMDA does for collaboration is this photo here. Again, there's another common person in that photo. It keeps on popping up. But this is we need to be looking at, from a WMDA perspective, what is the Asia Pacific need? Because that is the real growth area in here. And as the previous speaker said, part of the WMDA is to coordinate. And you can't coordinate if you don't know what everyone needs and wants. The WMDA is made up of pillars. That's one that does with IT, one that does with global development, promoting care, and the pillar that I look after, which is the Standards Committee. There is a worldwide database called Search and Match, and that was said before, that's where all the HLA sits for the world. This is going to replace the EMDIS connection, so everyone will be connected to this. So there will be only one database, one way of looking at it. In 2028, the 1st of January, this will be the place to go to, and registries will either have to have their own registry system, which we do, which we'll be developing, and registries that don't will need to go directly to the database, which you can do now, and everyone does. Everyone goes to Search and Match, does their first look. Here's another, just what we do. You know, the WMDA also encourages emerging and new registries. There's a handbook. So if you want to start up a registry, you're not alone. No, there are plenty of resources, and everyone is free to give out their advice. And the final slide is come to Australia. And when you come to Australia, come and see me. Thank you.
So I open the floor for the questions.
I'm surprised, Jonathan.
Thanks, Garth. Sadly, I cannot disagree with your with the donors being less committed since that pandemic situation. I think it's a worldwide phenomenon. It's not an easy fix, but obviously we hope that bounces back, but how are we working on getting that trust back in as far as donors?
I think really, yes, so how's it doing? Like there is a working party now established at the WMDA that is particularly looking at that, and we are trying to, as a world community, share our ideas and thoughts on how to connect the way that younger people in particular, and it's not really done by sex and or gender, I should say, although that we do find in the world that younger males, so males under 21 are more committed than females under 21, but it swaps at 21 to 25, and males become less committed and women become more committed, and there's something to do with that. But everyone is trying, and there are lots of little micro research going on with different types of research agencies. In Australia, we have a research agency that we use, and it really is just about keeping them engaged. And the engagement is the hardest thing. What mechanism that you do engagement? We know now that people don't answer their telephones. There's no point in ringing anyone up. You've got to text someone. And then texting is becoming fraught with scammers as well. So the other way to do it now is to use social media to contact people as well. Once you get people and actually contact them, then it's the messaging. And that's what we need to change, and that's where the real thing is when you get hold of them, it's no longer to say, hey, you're a potential match. They'll go, I've got a sore leg, and I can't do that, I'm really sorry. So it's that first contact, and that's where the research is going at the moment. So it's a long-winded question, but everyone is looking at it.
Thank you.
So if no question, thank you
very
for
much.
the nice presentation. And